It's important you have somebody working on your home that you can trust, but it's also important somebody knows the community, the environment, and the weather that goes through that region. St. Louis is very unique. We've got an expert here to talk about it. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Your Little Castle Show. Lisa Vonarx Palmer is in the building, the owner of Manchester Construction, a trusted local family construction expert. They're experts. So with doing this, you made a great point to me last show. If you missed the first show, everybody, check that out. It's on our YouTube channel. These will air on ABC at some point. We love getting all the small business owners on TV out here because small business owners, they don't have these huge marketing budgets, right? They're not here to make $1 million off of one sale or a month with the reoccurring 3,000 units they're doing or whatever. We work with small business owners who are trying to really invest in our community. And what you made that point to me last show that you can watch on our YouTube channel if you missed it was the weather here is so dynamic, and how do you deal with that, especially when you're talking about you've got a claim and now you've got to take that to an insurance company that's not looking to say, hey, yeah, take as much money as you want. You better make sure you've got this right. You've dealt with many cases, one in particular you just mentioned without mentioning names, that like they wanted to wait and they come back around and said, nah, that was a previous storm not covered. It's important you get somebody knows how to deal with the St. Louis weather.
Yes, and that you bring up a good point that made me think of this is, you know, with a fiberglass roof, asphalt shingle roof, they'll say that there's a warranty of 30 years. That warranty is a limited warranty because fiberglass roofs, asphalt roofs are lasting in our area about 8 to 12 years.
Really?
Yes. And that's because of this extreme heat that we get and the extreme cold that we can get. It fluctuates, and sometimes in a day.
I was going to say, that's if you don't like the weather in St. Louis, wait 15 minutes, it'll change. And you can go from 45 degrees up to 90 or from 60 degrees down to 17. And we've experienced that. One of the longest stretches we had most recently, give you a time of year, you can watch this video anytime, obviously, but under 32 degrees for like 10 days straight. I looked it up. St. Louis has done that for like 30 days in the past. But then it'll come back up and go back down. But that causes a flex that causes problems.
Yeah.
Why does that impact the roof?
Because it's expanding and contracting, and so again, you have rain and you have like even small pea-sized hail that's striking the roof, and it's causing granular loss. So the granules are the sunscreen for the roof. Okay.
I'm learning a lot here. Write this down. Lisa knows what she's talking about. The granules are the sunscreen for the roof.
Right.
Because right below that, it's a tar-based shingle, right?
Yes.
And so you like steel. We talked about steel shingles the first show. But that literally is protecting that tar, because the tar over time would bubble up and do what it does, right?
Right.
And so if you have granule loss, I've heard that before. Is that what happens?
Yes.
You have granule loss. Let me show on the wall here. We didn't get to this to the first show, but I want to show this up here for everybody. But on the this is her Facebook page, and lots of great information out there, and all kinds of roof. You've got that synthetic cover underneath there that makes it. And that's
a stone-coated steel roof.
That's a steel roof also.
And they do it. It's quieter too because they're not nailing the shingles in; they're actually screwing them in.
Ah, okay. Here's what I want to get to. This is where those are hail damage, right? Mm-hmm. Or some kind of granular loss, and you can see how many of those in a square. And boy, you go running around St. Louis and you get all kinds of these you're going to put all over the place. Holy cow. But this is what you're talking about.
Yes.
And as they start to peel off, then they start to, the granules come off. And then you end up having, you want to get this is tear off of, this is installation of a new roof, I would assume.
Yes.
But if you don't have somebody take a look to make sure that these kinds of things aren't all over the place. Look at that. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 of them right there in like a 5-foot area. Then you're just exposing the roof to the elements, and it'll fail. And then you start having bigger problems. So you start having the underlayment, what do you call
the tar paper, or synthetics can be stronger, but the tar paper will start to disintegrate, and then you're going to start getting leaking into your attic area.
Yeah.
So, and it's very important if we're selling a roof retail. We really want to make sure that we get in that attic because we want to see if the water has started coming through and what areas are underneath. For insurance claims, we're going to be tearing your whole roof off anyway. So we're going to see what bad wood is underneath the underlayment.
The underlayment boards, yeah, those things. My girlfriend had an issue, and we got an Airbnb, and they got done with it, and they said, okay, that was the estimate based on but that's 4 by 8 sheets of plywood they've got to replace there.
Right.
And if you have a few of those, if those have been damaged, then what else happened underneath that?
Right. And so you may not see the leak in your house right away because remember it's going down through all your insulation, and so you need a lot of water coming down to soak through your insulation to see a spot on your ceiling underneath.
Yeah, when you're on the inside of the roof, if you've seen those spots up if you've got a vaulted ceiling or whatever, you can see it, and there's just a little drop, and it's because there's water that's gotten through there, and it's penetrated quite a bit to get through to that point. You know, you've got a problem if you're seeing that.
Right, because it's gone through all that insulation that is blown in, or if you had the bats in there, it's gone through all of that insulation.
That's not a good place to be. Well, then that leads me. Let's get into the most important question I think I asked. We didn't get to this the first show. What's the biggest mistake the homeowner makes when they're trying to make a decision about whether to get their roof replaced or not, or the storm that came through?
What type of roof to put? Okay, so there's different classes, and no matter what the insurance is going to pay, my company is going to upgrade at no charge to a Class 3 roof.
Okay.
So a Class 3 roof is going to protect you from golf ball size hails.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
So Class 4 is baseball. So of course the stone coated steel is going to be a Class 4 roof, but we also have a fiberglass roof that is a Class 4 roof too. I don't know if it's as sturdy as the stone coated steel.
Right. Yeah, but it still qualifies. But Class 4, that's baseballs, everybody. Cardinal Cowboy, I used to throw an 82 mile an hour fastball.
It also withstands 120 mile wind.
So this is becoming at baseballs, because that's a big difference between a baseball and a golf ball. Am I holding it up for everybody? But you got baseballs hitting you. This thing could withstand that too.
Yes.
It's designed to.
Yes.
Wow, that's pretty durable then.
Yes.
And that's the steel and a fiberglass that's an upgraded from the traditional.
So yes, so the Class 3 is going to do golf ball size, and the Class 4 is going to be baseball
And there's
size.
a fiberglass type 3 and there's a fiberglass type 4.
Yes.
And you'll upgrade somebody to the type 4. Does that include it, or is that extra?
So Class 4 is usually, unless you have a Class 4 on there already, and the insurance company is going to know that, and they're going to pay. They're going to pay for whatever you have on your roof.
Right, yeah.
So if you already have a Class 4 on there, we're putting a Class 4 on there. If you don't have a Class 3 and they're not paying you for a Class 3, we're going to upgrade you to a Class 3 at no additional charge.
Okay, so you get that upgrade to a Class 3 no matter what, because that's just the minimum you'll install as a Class 3.
Yes.
And that's a big upgrade for a lot of people too, because I guess there's Class 1 and Class 2, and we don't.
Yeah, well, and you see the 3-tab roofs. They're just the flat 3-tab roof. There's no dimension like the architectural shingles have dimension to them. It's just those are going to be the cheapest roof that you'll put on. Not too many roofers still put them on, but they do, but we don't.
Not recommended. It's just not to the standard.
It's not going to last you maybe 5 years.
Wow. Okay. So now we're talking about that won't get you between storms sometimes, but incredible. Residential or commercial? Do you prefer one or the other? How much of each do you do?
I do more residential. Our company has done commercial. My dad has done commercial. So if there's a commercial or a flat roof, I will pull my father into the business.
Okay.
Because that's his expertise.
Right.
And
doing it for a long time.
Yep.
And so he will help you commercial. And how big are some of the commercial projects you guys have worked on?
Well, we did a roof off of Highway 70. That was actually, though, it was not a flat roof. It was a fiberglass shingle.
Oh wow! Okay.
But I can't remember how many. It was pretty big roof.
Okay. Yeah, if you're off the Highway 70, there's some big buildings, a lot of industrial, and places people, big store locations, retail stuff you can walk into. What is it you like most about St. Louis? And a couple of reasons. One, you get to help people here because they don't understand what they're dealing with regard to these storms a lot of times. Gosh, it just kind of shocks me. Now it's become more apparent. We had 2 tornadoes last year, and that was unusual. I think first time in 22 years we had 2 tornadoes in a year. But you really get to help people. But what do you like about the community itself and the people that you service here?
Well, I've grown up here. I know, they always say that St. Louis is kind of a
biggest town, right?
Big, small town.
Yeah.
So it's amazing that you probably know somebody that knows somebody. And it's just really, I feel it's a family oriented, and people are just really down to earth and good people. And just like with you, I know someone that you know, and
yeah, my buddy Ren sent me a text. He said, "Hey, you're going to interview my friend Lisa." I said, "Kill it." St. Louis, small world, and if somebody ever says, "Oh, you shouldn't work with that person," they will let it know very quickly. But the people you know and trust that you enjoy working with. So I was excited to hear that because Ren and I go way back, and we've gone hockey and baseball games and Kansas City for trips, and he's been on a float with us too in our cabin. So kind of fun there. But St. Louis is a tight little community. Yeah, and we talked about that a little bit during the first show. Based on your location, Manchester, wonderful location for St. Louis, but you service the whole area, and you can get to all over. You'll go up to an hour from here, wherever.
Yes, we'll go up to an hour. My sales manager, he might go a little bit further than I will. I don't like driving as far.
Right. Well, tell me a time when you really helped a client that you knew was in a tough situation. You've got many years of experience. You probably dealt with that a number of times.
A number of times, yes. There's times where, in insurance work, you have 2 different types of policies, and that's a lot of times people don't understand that. You have actual cash value, which you only get paid on the actual cash value of your house. Then you have RCV. And sometimes I forget, it's that's going to be your best policy because it's replacement cost value.
There it is, RCV.
Yes. It took me a minute to get that word back in my head. Replacement cost value. So that's the policy that you want because that's going to pay more out on your insurance because they're covering for what is being replaced.
And it's not like essentially the other one's kind of a depreciated.
Yes, it's a depreciated.
And you're saying, oh, well, there's 3 years worth of wear on this thing. We're going to give you $5,000 less than what it costs to replace it.
Correct. And I've had several people that have had actual cash values, and we try to work within that perimeter where a lot of bigger companies that have 300 employees, they have to make that payroll. I can run numbers a little bit and make it work for that homeowner to make it affordable for them.
That's what you get to do as a small business owner who doesn't have the overhead, and you're the one who makes those decisions too.
I make the decisions.
It doesn't go through 5 layers of questions and scrutiny. It can be handled by the person you see right here, sitting here, Lisa.
And it's not all about the money. It's helping people out. You help people out, then that's your biggest reward because then you get it back.
It comes back if you help people out. Everybody write that one down. That's the mantra the Cardinal Cowboy has been fortunate to live by, and it helps a lot of people. When you help other people, it comes back. They say 10. I think there's a book that mentions it, like tenfold. Whatever you reap, you will sow. What's the biggest challenge you've overcome as a business owner now, with as many years as you've got in business, and made you stronger? Something you learned from?
Well, my biggest challenge is being a woman in the construction business.
Right. Okay.
And dealing with some of the subcontractors, because I've had some subcontractors, try to take advantage and maybe have taken advantage of me, and learned from my father, that shouldn't have happened, Lisa, So it's harder for me being a woman because, like I said, I'm the minority.
Yeah, well, obviously you've proven that you can withstand that. You've got some beautiful work, a lot of great reviews, and a lot of great things people say about you. And you made it. Once you've made it, as long as you have, it's proven. Obviously, you're in the family name. You guys have decades of experience in the business that have made it work for you. With that, we're going to go back out and finish up a little bit of what we were doing here at the Dementia Life event, and then we're going to be back here talking to Lisa for 15 more minutes. We'll be back. Stay tuned.
Cowboys, right? I'm in the Midwest here, and a lot of times in sports. Plus, when we got, if you've got a cowboy hat on, wave at me over there. You got a few. There we go. All right. So first off, we got to make sure everybody knows where the restrooms are. Go out the side doors across from the patio near the town. You can see those over there. How many people have already bought raffle tickets? Anybody? Well, get those raffle tickets, and the 50-50 tickets, and the cooler raffle tickets. All three of those are good, fun prizes to help raise money for a great cause. The silent auction and items are available. Have you guys seen some of the silent auction stuff? There they are on the wall over there. The blind bourbon tasting over there. That's the fun crew over there, right? And a shout out to some of our sponsors. I'm going to list a couple of them here. First one up, Satiety Diner. Shout out to them. Make some noise. And Truly Treasured Home Care. We'll start off with them. I got a few more here we're going to be reading throughout the night. You got me? All right. With that, we'll get started here. I want to give a shout out and thank you for you all attending. This is the Dementia Life Western World. So shout out to yourself for making it here today. And last time I mentioned, but Tim gave me a little intro. I am Carter Rethwish, a.k.a. the Cardinal Cowboy. As you know my story, I'm lucky to be alive. In college, I was on my way. I just won the same award as David Freese and Ryan Howard for St. Louis Amateur Baseball Most Valuable Player. Then I ended up in a coma, hit by a drunk driver, where they gave me less than 50-50 odds to survive. I pulled a ventilator out of my own throat, proved them wrong, kept on proving them wrong, ended up running the email systems for Anheuser-Busch, became a top consultant for a couple big national companies, and now I have my own little community TV show on 3 times a week called Your Little Castle on ABC, and where we're highlighting all kinds of leaders in our community. So I want to give a shout out to you. Thank you.
His name is Carter Rethwish, but in St. Louis, he's known as the Cardinal Cowboy. He's a well-known fixture in the stands at sporting events in the Gateway City. He's one of its greatest cheerleaders, a super fan like no other. When he makes his rounds at almost every home game, he shares his love for sports with the rest of fandom with a smile, a cheer, some positive encouragement, and lots and lots of selfies and pics. But the Cardinal Cowboy was born of a tragic incident. Rethwish was an aspiring athlete in high school and college. He dreamed of playing in the big leagues, but those dreams ended when he and 3 of his college friends were hit with a devastating crash by a 5-time drunk driver. One of his best friends died. Carter suffered a critical head injury. The trauma put him in a coma for 6 days. The doctors said he was never expected to function again. Those expectations never came true. He fought back and finished college. He was determined to prove the doctors wrong. Among other inspirations, it was his love of baseball that kept him going. And from his near-death experience, the Cardinal Cowboy emerged. His goal in life became to inspire others with positivity despite the odds, to help people believe in themselves and achieve their dreams.
So after my coma, I realized that it was up to me if I was going to accomplish my goals, if I was going to reach my dreams. Despite what the naysayers would say, the people that were discouraging me, like they do everyone, it's up to me if I'm going to make it. Don't listen to the naysayers. It's up to you. You decide whether you're going to succeed, whether you're going to reach your goals. Dream, and then always, always chase your dreams. Never give up. Giddy up. Hey, we're looking for the small business owners and leaders in our community to be on our show. This is the Your Little Castle show. We air 3 times a week, every week on ABC, and we would like to put somebody you know, or maybe it's you, who's a business owner to be on our show. You'll sit right here in our guest chair, right here, sitting here talking to us. We're going to put on the wall your website and everything about you and highlight you as a leader. Fill out the form you see here on our website. It's bigleagues.com, And if you go to bigleagues.com, fill out this form, takes just a couple seconds, and you can even schedule yourself right here. Schedule yourself to be on the show, and there is no charge for us to record you. There's no charge to be in the studio. Check it out if you would like to be on. Fill out the form again, bigleagues.com. This is where we can turn any interview into a series of clips. Check that out. Go to bigleagues.com. So there you have it, everybody. We talked about it a little bit first show, but pick up this book, Magnetized Media. Yours truly wrote the foreword, and it's the #1 seller on Amazon. You can see there. But how has media changed the way, I'll get into, how has media changed the way the world revolves? I get to see all of your work before I even have to call you, because you've got examples of what you've done on your social media, on your website. This has changed from when your dad started the company 25, 30 years ago.
Oh yeah, people would use the phone book, right? And now they just go online and exactly check out your work, check out your reviews, see what kind of business you are.
Yeah, I mean, these days, if you don't have some kind of presence online, somebody said to me not too long ago, websites, aren't those old technology? I'm like, man, if you ain't got a website, then you're going to be in trouble. But you can upgrade and get your talk to me before you get a website. I can do websites for pennies compared to what it's all systematized, right? I know these guys sell these crazy websites that are out there. But with that, you've got a website. You've got lots of great information out there. Tell me the process for somebody if they want to work with you. How simple is it? They just give you a call, give you a text?
Yeah, just give me a call, give me a text. I'll set up a time to come out, inspect your roof, and I take pictures of what I see up there, and then I sit down and I show you the pictures, and then if it's an insurance claim, you and I will go through the process of opening up the claim and calling the insurance company, setting up the adjuster appointment, and then I meet the adjuster for you, and I take everything over so that you don't have to worry about anything other than picking out what type of roof and what color roof you want.
There you go. I mean, that's a difficult situation. I felt I knew it well enough myself. I had a buddy of mine do my job, and then they missed $12,000 worth of siding because I was dealing with it myself, and I told them I could handle it. This is not what you want to do. You want to bring somebody in like yourself who's done this for years, and you will deal with the insurance company.
It's kind of like, would you go into court representing yourself?
Right.
Why would you go up against an insurance company when you don't know everything that the insurance company is going to throw back at you?
Yeah, well said, and because there's a lot that the insurance companies have going for them. They have the resources, to say the least. But if you want to get a hold of Lisa, there it is. We'll put the website up here. Here's some of the images we had of her work. But if you go back to the main page, you can see it real easy to find. And there's that form we were talking about. Fill this out, and then within a few seconds, she'll have an alert from you. And you can start learning more about her, and she'll reach back out to you so you can get going with her, because you don't want to put off the response to these things. I can tell you another story. A friend of mine had a storm came through. She waited a year. And by then, I think the insurance companies were kind of like, we're done. We've already done all the repairs we're going to do here. Yeah, we got all of your neighbors, but your house, you waited, and we're not doing it.
Well, and that's just it. Most insurance companies, you have 1 year from the date of loss. And State Farm is 2 years. I will tell you, State Farm is one of the hardest ones to work with. Also, the longer you wait in that year's time, yes, they have written out those checks, and it is harder to get your roof bought the longer you wait.
It's true. State Farm is one of the best to work with regard to, like, they've been around for a long time too.
They have been around, but they also are really,
they scrutinize. Yeah.
Yeah, they sometimes they can be great.
Depends on which agent you got that came out to the house sometimes, I guess.
True. And like I said, sometimes the adjuster will go, okay, I'm just writing a check right here and now, and they'll do it. But you have to jump through a little bit more hoops with State Farm. So.
Okay. But that's where you come in to help people to make sure. And
I will help jump through those. I'll jump through those hoops for you. You don't have to.
Right. And I'm sure you've had many State Farm bought roofs.
Oh, absolutely.
Because you know
absolutely
how to handle all that. So.
And it's not just State Farm. Insurance in general is getting harder because of the storms here in the Midwest, the fires out in the on the West Coast. Insurance companies they're getting hit really hard right now.
Yeah, and it's a process. That's why you should hire an expert that will go through that process with you, so you're not trying to handle it on your. Why would you represent yourself in a court of law as your own attorney? Get somebody who's an expert to help you. What's the biggest question that people have for you? The biggest objection, we call that. Say, oh, I want to do this, but
the money. So if it's an insurance claim, it's not as much of an objection. For retail, you know, if you're getting windows, it's going to be the cost. And all I can say is, you know, we can probably beat whatever price you're going to get from a bigger company, because
that overhead, you don't have all of the 14 layers of bureaucracy to deal with.
exactly. And you know, I'm not, like he said, I'm not out here trying to make $1 million. I'm trying to, you know, feed my family and help the customers.
Feed the family and help the customers, everybody. What a concept right there. Yeah, making $10 million isn't what drives everybody on this planet. And we've got an expert here that just has a good family background from St. Louis, born and raised, and will service the St. Louis area continually as she's done all her life. And so all your life you've been in St. Louis. He said a little brief period, but I mean, she's got at least 25 years, I'm going to guess. Maybe.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. We moved back here in '74, so.
Okay, yeah. All right. What gives you the most satisfaction ultimately for what you get to do?
Just meeting people, talking to people. I like hearing people's stories, and I like the end result when they come out and they look at their roof and they like, this looks so great. You know, the stone coated steel, when they look out and they go, wow, this has increased my property value this much.
Wow, yeah.
And that's what gives me the greatest satisfaction, because really, at the end of the day, if I can help somebody and make them happy, then I've done my job.
That's what it's about, everybody. Helping the community, helping your fellow neighbor, and being there to make a difference when it counts. And it's a good reason to have that kind of satisfaction for a job. That's what we're all looking for out of our jobs, everybody. How do you contribute to the community? You have a particular charity that you like to support? Tell me a little bit about them.
I'm really big in rescue. So I Open Door Sanctuary has a auction every year, a dinner auction in August usually. I am always present for that. My son and I go to it. I also network for most of the local.
Is them right there?
Yes.
There we go.
Yep.
Well, shout out for these guys. I'm familiar with the group here. Yeah, cool.
I also, you know, and this is a personal story. My mom just passed away in November of 2024, and she had a pacemaker, and I actually donated the pacemaker to Stray Rescue.
Okay.
Because you can't donate to a person, right?
Oh, okay, but they can use that.
They can, if you donate it to a animal.
Great cause. Stay tuned for more, everybody. This is your little castle show. Giddy up.